Hey, hobby hooligans. I'm here at Ashtabula Hobby Talk. I'm your host, Rikus, uh, comic book enthusiast, comic book store owner, Captain's Comics in North Kingsville, Ohio. And I'm here with,
Hey everybody, I'm Nemo, amateur radio enthusiast, president of Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula, and we've got a special guest tonight. Uh, really happy to bring him into the mix and talk with him. We've got comic book creator and podcaster Dr. Ben Anthony with us. Dr. Ben, thank you and for being here and welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. This is awesome. I know I get to like help you guys on one of your early shows doing the sound work, so it's fun to be see the whole thing all put together, see from the other side. So
yep, you're on the other side of the seat now.
yeah,
Yeah, we got you in the hot seat tonight, man. Hey, thank you for doing that for us
right.
too. You bailed us out of a tight spot in the last minute, and yeah, we always make things look bigger
Yeah,
on camera than they really are, but it's tough squeezing this all in here. But thank you for that. Appreciate it. So, hey, man, you got a new comic book coming out.
yeah. So I debuted it at the Erie Comic Con, which was the 12th to the 14th in Piglet, right? Which I've got a shirt too, so
Oh, wow, you
I'm
already got
I'm pretty
merch.
like I'm fully invested. But this is like last year. Last year I had like the ashcan version of it, right? Like this is I called it Let Us Get, right? And it's a horror story, right? I call it my goth true crime story. I thought that might be better to present it as like a Vamp Piglet present it. Like she's kind of like if you imagine like Elvira or like the Crypt Keeper, she's like a horror host, right? So like a Piglet is she like introduces the stories and stuff. And then like the first page is, like I said, that was the old ash can version of it. This is where it's fully published here. And black and white on the inside. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's some of it's like auto bio, but then there's also I put in a bunch of other stuff after the weird horror story bat. I put in comics that I had been printed before, right? Like I had like ones that had been in different different anthologies and stuff. I wanted to like put them out myself. So I put those in the back and just I did a I put in my one of I did like a we did it wasn't Weapon X, it was Weapon X. It's spelled ECHH or something. Weapon X. Everyone just redid pages from the classic like Barry Windsor Smith Wolverine Weapon X story
Wasn't
in
that
their own
published somewhere
style. So
else?
that's what I'm saying. What's that?
Was that published somewhere else? Didn't you get published that Weapon Eck in something? Or was you just been talking about it for a while? I think it's very familiar to me.
Weapon. It was through. It came out a couple years ago. It was through. There's a guy called 100% Comics. Like he'd done a couple other sort of like fan things and stuff. And I know I think I had like like a little mini comic of it before too. Like I had like the process of it where it
It,
was.
it's okay, man. You can use the word zine. We're not afraid of that word around here.
And what's I'm saying, it's a lot of stuff. I put in this the Cleveland Torso Murders, which was like one of the comics I. This is from back in 2012. One I was first starting out doing like mini comics and zines and stuff. I did this one. I took it to was it Genghis Khan up in Cleveland, but that was back in. I'm saying I've been doing these comics and mini comics and stuff for a couple of years. I feel you know, but I'm happy with this one. I feel it kept the publisher or the printer came out really good. This is the one that was in Rick Veitch published this one in his Rare Bit Fiends magazine. comic. But yes, that's what I'm saying. I took it. I took it to the Erie Comic Con, and like everybody that walked by was like, they'd walk by and I'd had, I have a bunch of copies on the table there, and they'd see it, and like I could see them like read Vamp Piglet, like they'd see them like mouth the words, be like, Piglet, and then they'd start laughing and be like, come over and like that's what I'm saying. It was I get people like looking at my work and that like my comics and my artwork and stuff, but like it was this time was really neat because it was like so many people, just random people. I could see so many people like just like laughing about it, and they'd come over and like look at it. I mean, I feel like I'm doing that finally got a successful comic rather than the
So you might have a winner there. Yeah, I mean, it looks really good. So, hey, tell us how you got started. I mean, were you a comic book collector in the beginning and you just decided to start doing your own comic books?
yeah. I mean, it was, like it's funny every time I see Rikus. It's funny because we grew up like in the same town and went to the same comic book shop when we were kids,
Right.
and like we
Yeah.
never saw each other. We same like we're looking at we knew all the same people from the store. You remember this guy? Yeah, I remember getting Bloodshot One there. I do too. I remember when Spawn came out. It's like I remember getting all those too when I was. It's like it's so that's like as a kid I grew up loving comics and it never it never stopped, and I never as a kid I couldn't figure out how to make them. Like I didn't understand that like people draw the art and it's like they draw it way bigger and then it's like shrunk down. Like as a kid, like it put off like me trying to figure out the art for like a long time because I was like, how can they draw so small, so good? Like, and like that was just a lifelong. Let's see, when did I finally? It was 2000. It was 2011 was the first time I finally figured out. I finally made like my first mini comic and had them at that what was it, the Any Geek Festival in Jefferson back in 2011. That was it was right.
Yeah. As I was saying, I find that very fascinating that we both grew up in the same town, small town, and we both have a huge passion for comic books. And I went one way and you went the other way without even knowing each other. I opened up my comic book store and you started creating comics. And we met at that NEO event, and we didn't click that much. I mean, I seen you there. I didn't know you. My wife knew you from before. She knew you from the pet store when your parents owned the pet
Right.
store in Conneaut.
Wait, the pet store up by
I
the
remember.
Grumpy Grandpa's?
No, that's Nebula.
Okay.
This is
No, no,
before you came here.
Oh, yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're new.
I remember that we talked about Profit because that was like they had just announced that they were doing the relaunch of Profit back in 2011. They're
Yeah.
like, we're coming out back out with a new version of Profit, and it's gonna be sci-fi, like a sci-fi like Conan adventure. And I remember like we were like they'd only had like a couple of pictures and like
Right.
I don't know if they had released like the whole team. Like I remember like they said it was like that Brandon Graham. I was like, who is this guy? And like I started looking up his stuff and I was like this is wild. And that's what I'm saying. I don't remember if they had I think they had just released like a couple images and we're just starting to talk about it and we were like both like
Right.
Prophet's coming back out. Like what? That was like I remember talking to you and then that was it and then it was just
Right.
back to
Let's
selling
do a follow up
comics
on that.
and
What did you think about the comic book, The Prophet, the sci-fi?
what's it?
What did you think about that
I
comic?
loved it.
Yeah,
Like
it was way different from the beginning. So I found it
Yeah,
interesting.
oh, go ahead.
I found it interesting because it was not like the previous Prophet comics. It took a whole different route.
But it was like in the later issues, like they had like they would like kind of reference like lore from like the old like 1990s issues of Prophet, which like Prophet, like for people that aren't like ultra nerds like we are sort of from the Rob Liefeld's Youngblood comics, and that was, and I think it's still supposed to be option for a movie. Like Prophet is supposed to be option for a movie. So
Yeah,
back
I
in the
think you're correct.
'90s, like that was like the just one of the coolest books. Like was the Prophet book, especially they had Stephen Platt came out on it and was drawing great. Like so then having it come back in like 2011, 2012 with like a whole new like weird art team and stuff, and it was I loved it. Like I've gotten to like talk with like some of the creators, like the like Brand, like the main writer behind it, Brandon Graham, and
Oh, that's awesome.
he's like, the same thing. He's just like a super comics nerd. He loves comics. Like he's always talking about whatever he's reading. He's always drawing stuff, and like it's so that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not just saying like because like he's like my buddy or whatever that like I like it. Like that's one of the books that like I seriously like I followed it, and it was so cool because like I said, like it would reference stuff from the '90s, but it was like like more. I don't know if like mature is the right word, but you know what I mean. Like people kind of like look down on old comics sometimes. They'll be like, "Oh, those aren't for adults." This felt like how like people like Heavy Metal magazine is like sci-fi, but it's like adults. Like it's not
Right.
And
not
that
like
was a
it's not like
great
kid
movie
stuff.
too. That was probably one of the best
Yeah,
adaptations to movie format that I've ever seen. That and
a
maybe
lot of
Spawn was pretty good too. I think Spawn was right up there.
I have heavy metal
oh
on
the
Laserdisc.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a lot of that heavy metal feel like all those that's what I'm saying. That like that sci-fi that's like it's like an adult sci-fi. Like it doesn't have to be like adult, like adult, but like but they did have like Blood Wolf showed up eventually and Bad Rock eventually became like a planet or something. Like he grew so big like he became a planet and like
It's so bizarre.
like so that's what I mean. Like so much of it was like he'd throw in like little stuff that you'd just be like, what? Like that's what I mean. Like seeing Blood Wolf, and he wasn't like a huge part in it, but it was like he was like in the background, like one of the comics. I'm like, Wolf's in there. Oh, hell yeah! Like that's what I'm saying. Like all the Liefeld stuff was like because that's the thing too. Like Rob Liefeld comics, like a lot of there's always like a controversy with him. Like people that don't like Rob Liefeld are always boastful about it. They always bring it up somehow. Like if you're talking about comics and it's someone that doesn't like Rob Liefeld, they're always going to find a way to work it into their conversations. And it's like
Right.
it's and that wasn't how like any of like the relaunch was done. And like I liked that. So that's what I'm saying. Like I like comics. I like when they like respect like the creators and like the original. Like the stuff with Superman. I don't know how much you guys liked the new Superman movie, but like I liked it because it felt like more this felt like it was like more respectful to like the comics and stuff and like the
Right.
just
Yeah.
like the kind of lore
You
of
know,
Superman.
I like all the Superman movies, all of them, even like the
Yeah.
Richard Pryor ones and all that from back in the
Oh, those
day.
are classic.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, absolutely. The only one I didn't really couldn't really get into was like the Smallville stuff and the Lois and Clark stuff. I couldn't get into those series, but the rest of the movies, all
Right.
the motion pictures are great.
I was watching the Smallville ones. I was pretty into that, but it got overwhelming with how many episodes they had, and it was just it turned into a giant soap opera towards the end, which was good. I mean, that's what comic books are, is just a different form of soap operas, but you have your drama and you have
Yeah.
key elements that drive the drama. I mean,
Right.
So tell us a little bit about your storyline creation and your not motivation, but yeah, your motivation. Character development, that kind of stuff that goes into it.
Well, I mean, like see if I've got, this is this is like a page of like thumbnails for like trying to figure out. I had this joke sitting around for a long time about chicken breasts, and well, I'll leave it there. I don't want to spoil my own jokes, but you know what I'm saying? Like I've had it written down, like part of it written down on a little piece of paper, and then like I started like working on it, and like I'll figure out how well this is going to show up. But you know what I mean? Like I'll just draw like tiny little stick figures for like placement of this is for just like a little like 3 panel strip. So it's like, you know what I mean? You've
Don't
got to
leave
like
that up
figure out
too long.
exactly
That'll
where
be
you're going to
worth
put
money one day.
everything. Oh yeah, no, I keep like just a big old box to all my stuff. It's there's so much to it. But that's you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. That's I work with for figuring stuff out, like just using lined paper is the best, I think, because you're not like too precious with it. Like you're like just a pace of lined notebook, you know what I mean? You're not worried about making a mistake or like drawing it exactly perfect so you can, and then you draw something in there, and if it's something like you get something just right in there, just a curl of hair just right, or an eye or something, like you lift it out of there and put it on like a real piece of paper, like you trace it, or there's a million different things to move your images around. But that's I mean, it's like it's for stuff like that, it's a process of just sitting, keeping notes, and then like putting them together, and then it's not. I've got I do work for this it's called Ripperologist magazine, right? It's the what is how do they call it? The academic journal of Victorian culture and the Whitechapel like murders, the Whitechapel crimes or whatever. And it's it's not like a horror mag. It's like an academic. There's articles about like all the different history of like Victorian London and stuff. And I do illustrations for that. So like for that, I'm not so much like writing them because like they'll tell me like what the articles are in the magazine. Like they just sent me the next issue like yesterday. They're like, here, this is the next one. Pick out some stuff from this to illustrate. So you know what I mean? Like they already have like the story, so it's kind of like easier because then I can just pick out like there's a story in there about this guy it's like just news stories from like the 1800s in London. So I mean, you already have like a preconceived notion of like Victorian age people and stuff, and it's like it's funny because like the one I've first one I've got to illustrate it's this guy that it's like his rap sheet, and he was a guy that he had been in some sort of industrial accident, and he had two wooden legs and was missing one arm, and he had like a he had some sort of contraption for his arm, and he had this rap sheet of like going to bars and fighting people and like just this, and it was like they're all these they have descriptions because that was back in the 1800s. That was their like you had the newspaper, that was your entertainment. There wasn't radio, there wasn't TV. So I mean, London had 30 newspapers or whatever that came out every week. Like that was what people followed for news. So that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
it's just
Nowadays,
you
some
go
people barely
through.
have one or two in their town at all. I remember
I
growing
know.
up, that speaking of comics and the that was my favorite thing in the week to look forward to. Sunday morning, the newspaper would come and there'd be 3 pages of comic strips in there, man. That was great. I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was looking forward to every week, and that and a trip down to the grocery store so I could grab one from the newsstand.
My grandma used to cut out the Ninja Turtles comic strip that was published daily in the newspaper.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was. I all those original like newspaper one. Like I remember, like I had like a certain order I would read them in because it was like like they'd had like there's like the really good ones, like there's the Phantom and Dick Tracy and Prince Valiant were always in
Yeah.
there, and then like I don't even remember like when I it must have been when I was like a little kid because there was still like Nancy was in there too sometimes. Nancy and like maybe like Kathy and like for better or worse. As a kid, I was just like I don't
Yeah,
like
I
these,
have.
but you know what? I was like, I want to read the best comics last, so I'd read all the ones that I didn't like first, but I'd like read them angry. Like
Yeah.
I'd read like one good one, like Garfield or Heathcliff or something, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna read all the ones I don't like, because like I couldn't like not read them. You know what I mean? Like you've got them, you have all the comics there, you're gonna read. You
Yeah,
don't want to
even
read
the
Kathy
dumb
and
ones.
listen to her like
Yeah.
complaining about like a date and her mom, like like no, like 10-year-old kid wants to read that, but like it's there, and
Yeah.
you read all the other comics already, like just to say, I get those out of the way, and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna, and I'd kind of like glance at like the other ones, like I'd glance at the Prince Valiant and be like, is this one gonna be like really good one? Like if there's like a lot of reading, like I'll save that one for the last, like the best. As I
I
say,
got a couple of
it was always comics have just always been there as my jam.
sweet. I got a couple of full page Spirit comics out of the newspapers. One day when we get
Nice.
together, I'll bring them over and show them to you. I'm sure you'd get a kick out of those.
Oh
I seen
yeah.
them once. You brought them in.
Yeah, and they're still sitting in plastic now,
Were they
back in
from
the
the
box.
1940s or
Yeah,
something?
from the 40s, like early ones. They're in pretty good shape for being that old.
That like that whole like giant like newspaper size. Is that maybe tabloid size or something?
Yeah,
But like
it's like
that
an
that
eight and a
giant
half by
newspaper
11.
size.
Yeah, I have
Huh.
like some
It,
like half
it's
page, full page pieces. Yeah,
that's
that's
something
pretty cool. I don't even know how to
I
like.
think
I took
that
him to
could come
Rikus. He
back.
didn't know how to price them, and so it's
Yeah.
like when I look them up, there's no way to figure them out. So I got them, but I'll bring them over, let you check them out one day. They're
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool. Anything's a good read, even from back then.
Oh yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like I get like Rikus knows about the warehouse down near Pittsburgh. Like it's a warehouse of
Mm-hmm.
comics, of like old comics. I mean, I don't know how to estimate how many comics are in there. I
Oh,
mean,
there's no
a
way to estimate.
million.
More
I mean,
probably. I don't
it's
know.
just it's so many. It's just insane. It's insane. Like it's.
Treasure
I mean,
trove.
you've seen inside like a factory and like a huge, like big warehouse rooms. It's like that, and it's just end to end tables with comic. Well, some of it is just pallets stacked on top of each other to make
Yeah.
tables to put pieces of comics on
It's
it.
an
And
awesome
like,
experience.
you go down there, and that's what like get going through there because it's like you can fill up a box for crazy cheap, and they
Mm-hmm.
have just all this stuff that's old that you're not gonna find. That you It's just insane stuff from like the 70s, 80s, like the crazy stuff from the 80s, and just it's so much just you just like you never even would have even thought of, and it's just a
I picked out a
warehouse down
couple
near
autographed
Pittsburgh.
ones in there. Never know what
So
you're gonna find in
there's
it.
it's crazy. I mean, like every time I've gone, it's like I've found stuff that like I was looking for that I didn't even know that like I was like I'd find be like, oh my god, this is
Hmm.
like all the old like Fantagraphics and like indie stuff like they had like boxes of that I was just like, are you kidding? Like I'm taking all of this, just put it. Like that's what I'm saying. It's comics are just like an obsession almost, but it's I mean there's something about it. Like I think of them as almost like the kind of like the start of like culture and movies and stuff because comics were came, we had comics, and then once they started making movies and television, like so many of the movies and television shows were all based off of comics. You know what I mean? There was all, the old Flash Gordon stuff, obviously the old like Dick Tracy. There's like tons of Dick Tracy shows from back in the day. And even though, I watch those, they're all on YouTube, and I mean they're cool, they're fun stuff, it's like, it all came from comics. Like so much of the like Popeye and all that, obviously that was
Yeah.
originally a comic book. All the
Yeah,
you know what I
Betty
mean?
Boop,
Like it's
all that
just
stuff. Mickey Mouse, that all came from comics. You're right.
oh, yeah.
Let's get back to your stuff.
So
What inspired you to do the pizza logo? Your
Yeah,
branding.
did you bring pizza?
Well-
What's the logo about, man?
well, I do love pizza, and
Well, who doesn't?
it's a I know. Well, see, that's what it's actually kind of reference to, is it's like a world. I've got to make like more of a comic about it, because like I'd started making a comic. Must have been back in 2015 or 2016, I think. And it was set where like there was a world where pizza was illegal, and there was like a way to access the world through a video game. Like the video game was of that world, but like we didn't know. Like there was it in the world where pizza is illegal. There's like people that go around that are like enforcers that are like evil monsters that go around, and they hunt pizza. They hunt like pizza delivery people, pizza shop. It's just a whole crazy world, and and it stuck with me. And then eventually I turned him into like my little pizza me there. He's got little eyes and a mouth.
Yeah.
And
Every time I see that thing, I think it's Pizza the Hutt's little nephew.
Yeah.
that's what I wanted. Like
Yeah.
like I
No
like
pineapple on the pizza?
no, just pepperonis.
All right.
Like
all right. He's not a pineapple.
When I put the eye, when I came up with the eyes on him with like the little pizza face like logo, was just after like the first season of like Mandalorian had come out, and so like everyone was like all like loved like little baby Yoda, right? And so I was thinking like, man, what if I made a little baby character, and like that was I thought like Pizza the Hut, and I was like, what if there was like a little tiny baby version of Pizza the Hut? It would just be like a little piece of pizza.
So I nailed it. It
That's what I'm saying.
interpreted
Like,
great
that's
with me.
exactly.
So, hey, man,
So,
my Oh. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I was just gonna say I had like a couple. I had a couple strips where I have him doing stuff where like he interviews somebody, and like he's in this one too. He shows up. Where's it at? He's in like on a couple of the pages in here. Yeah, there.
All right.
Oh, look.
Yeah, so there it is.
The standing pizza
I don't know
party.
if that's on
All
here.
right.
It looks like it's backwards. So
No,
if
it's
you
coming
want to
up.
see it
No,
the
we
right
got it.
way, if you want to see it the right way, or if you want to get your own copy,
There you go.
that's the
Yeah,
other thing we
so-
could plug this weekend.
Yeah, I
is,
was going to say you're coming out of the lab there, so to speak, for a little while this weekend, right?
Batman Day is on Saturday. Is that what they're called? Batman.
That's
Day?
what
Or is
we're
it-
calling it.
They're called. There's like Batman Day and like comic. I think there's other people that are calling it Comic Shop Day, but like it's the same thing. Batman Day, Comic Shop
Well,
Day. Like
Actually, Batman Day and other comic book stores celebrated a week earlier. We're celebrating it a week later than most comic book stores. We wanted to combine Batman Day with comic shop day, local comic shop day. So
yeah.
we kind of combine those two. Only at Captain's Comics. Other places they're separated.
Got to be different.
Yeah, we just wanted one day, combine them both, celebrate comic shops, Batman, and everything comics, and Ben stuff too. Dr.Ben. is going to be at Captain's
Yeah,
Comics.
that's what I was gonna say. Is you've been like just because this is what like is this the fourth year for you that you've had the shop?
I think so, yeah. Going on 4 years
I
now.
think so. It's either the fourth. It's coming up on like 5 years. I mean, that's and like you've had like so much. You first had it in the other place. They had the water pipes bursted and everything. Like I mean, that was
Oh, that was a nightmare.
for like a new business. I mean, like I can't even imagine. And you guys like stuck it out. Here you are, keep going, and
My
you support like all of the creators around here. Like all know like you go to Rikus' shop, he'll sell your comics. Take your comics there. So I mean, I know you've got Fringe Night,
Yep,
Avalon,
Apama.
the Hero Brian got Heroin Brian, whatever those guys with the
Yep,
all those girls are all dressed up as superhero ladies.
yeah.
And
I'm a
there's
big
other
fan
ones
of
like
supporting local stuff. I love comic books, and I think it's very important for comic book shops to support local creators first and foremost, and then get to the worldly stuff because that's the only place you're going to find these
oh
independent
yeah,
comics. That's the way
right,
they
right.
make it is by the comic book stores supporting them, and that's what I'm here to do.
So you could be out there
It's
signing your books and selling copies of your books and signing your books out there.
yeah, yeah. I have copies of Vamp Piglet. I'll also have Babies from Hell, which is it's like the illustrations I do in Ripperologist magazine. That's what I'm saying. They're all, like that old timey kind of style, black and white, like hatching, like that. It's just like there's something about like like hatching like that is just it's just like the best thing. And like well, you know who Robert Crumb is, who did like Fritz the Cat and all that stuff
Right?
back in the '70s. Like I just
Yeah.
read this interview with him where he was talking about how for him it was always like he was drawing to be able to get to the point of like that doing like the cross hatching. Like that was like the best part for him was doing that cross hatching. And it's something about like just doing all that like just line work is just taking a pen and just scratching lines and it seems like so simple and yet it is so satisfying.
Yeah.
I probably sound like I'm just insane, but
No, not at all.
you got to be crazy to make comics. It's a
That's what
good
they
artist.
say,
You got to be a little.
but I don't listen to what they say.
All right. Well, hey, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and not just out at the comic book shop, but if they want to try and get in touch with you or maybe find out a little bit more about you, where are they looking?
Well, so I use Dr.Ben's comics here. Let me. It's not on there. There it is. It's like that Dr. Ben's comics logo there, like Dr. Ben's comics. Got like new little stickers too. If you
You
look
have a
on
name
the
for
YouTube,
Pizza Hut's little cousin?
it's Pizza Me, like Mini
Pizza Me?
Me, but Pizza Me.
Is that what he's
Pizza Me.
called? Pizza Me? All right.
Yeah.
So they'll catch you on X or
But all the
Facebook or any of them
places.
places?
That's what I was gonna say. I'm on X. Same thing. Dr. Ben's Comics. Instagram is Dr. Ben's Comics, and then the YouTube. If you look up Dr. Ben's Comics with the X, comics with the X, not the CS. But I got my YouTube show. I do review comics on there. I interview other comics creators, and I talk about my own comics all the constantly. Of course, that was like I got the comic in. I was like, you know what, I have to sell some of them. So like I sold some of them on my show to just the initial people that are always there watching the show, because I mean you get people that like always are there for your show. You're like you gotta do something for them, shout them out, like just like, hey, like thanks, You're always there. Like that's running a show. It's crazy. But
Yep.
Yep, get that. And we have our
and
regulars
it
too that we like to thank every week when they're here.
I was gonna say it goes to the eBay. Like my eBay is the same thing, Dr.Ben's Comics. And if you don't catch me at one of the at Rikis's this weekend, or you don't go there, because I'll leave some behind, But if you're out, if you're in a different state or something, you can go on my eBay and I'm on there too. It's all
Very cool.
I got to figure out how to put it on like digital, because there's so many with comics, there's so many different like digital options, like you have like just like PDF files, but like people are on, there's so many different ways you can present comics. You can have like just almost like a slideshow you do on like Instagram is a big place for comics. I'm gonna put it on there, but I don't want to, the people that just bought the comic, I don't want them to like look on Instagram and be like, well, the comic, why I bought it, he's just showing it for free on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, I'll like wait a while before I put it on digital. But
Right.
yeah, Dr.Ben's Comics. That is the I said it's on YouTube and Twitter, X, Instagram, Substack. There's a Substack too, but it's Substack is just Dr.Ben. Dr.Ben.substack. But if you go on any one of them, they all have links that go to all the other ones. So,
All right.
Figuring it all out,
All right, man. Well, I look forward to having you at my store and hanging out and talking comics, and
Oh, yeah.
maybe talk some comics to some of our customers and talk more about profit. We'll get into more of that at the shop. We'll do a deep dive.
Here we like to stay on the hobby side. Well, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it, and taking the time out of your busy day and jumping over here and joining us for the show. It's been great having you.
Yeah. And I'll share all the stuff for it, because like we're live on the over here, and then like you share it on YouTube and everything. That's not live there.
We right now we tape. Right now we're taped, and then we
okay.
We upload. So that's we had that little glitch earlier. It's okay. We're probably a month out from actually picking a live time slot.
Oh, okay.
It'll probably be 7:30. Like we start taping the show at 7:30, so it'll probably be 7:30 when we go live. We made a bunch of changes on the line today, so that we could do things a little bit differently.
Right.
And we didn't know exactly how that was going to react, so we don't like to make big changes on the production side and then not have it stable for our next thing. So, but it seems like it's going to be stable.
Yeah, no, that's the key with it, is stuff that you can, that with any of these, because I mean, like all this different stuff you have, like microphones, cameras, the computer, which mouse, the keyboard, like all these little things. It's like you just got to use stuff that, like, all the programs and everything. You just got to use stuff that you understand, and like doesn't make you crazy trying to use it. Like I mean, the same thing making a comic. I draw everything like traditionally, and then you have to scan it. I've got a big scanner. You scan in the original art, and then you put it into I use Clip Studio is what I use, but it like essentially like a Photoshop like program where you go in and like you can color it, you can make different layers, and like you clean up the art and like whatever it is you're going to do with it. Because I mean, if you're doing colored art, you've got a whole different process for than doing black and white. And with that, like just with like scanning art, for the longest time I just had like a little scanner, right? And you have a big page, but you can, if you have your scanner isn't the right size, you have to scan it like in pieces, right? I'd have to then go into the Photoshop and like digitally like stitch it back together, and it was like just the most like I hated it. You know what I mean? And like I finally get like a bigger scanner so I could just scan the whole picture at once. It was just like it was like night and day. I was like, oh my gosh, that's all I did. I just do, and it's done. I go in and like it just you know what I mean. Like you find the tools that like make whatever you're doing easier, make it so you can you know you can operate them good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, again, thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate it, and hopefully, I'll get some time to get up there to the Rikus' shop and see you in person again. It was great having you here the last time, and really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Thanks a lot, man. I'll see you in a couple days.
Yeah. You want me to
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pull up. You could stick around for a few minutes. Maybe we could talk a little bit after, but we got to
yeah,
plug just a couple things real quick. Um,
yeah, I'll
so
hang out with you, you
don't
know.
forget, everybody. Hey, we're at 50 subscribers on our YouTube channel now.
Not bad.
We're halfway to the 100, and when we hit 100 subscribers, we're gonna give away this awesome T-shirt. Let's see if we can get straight to it there. Yep, this awesome T-shirt. Captain's Comics T-shirt we're going to give away, and it's any size, any color printing you want on it. We'll figure it out, and we're going to give away this rare coffee mug. These coffee mugs are getting rarer and rarer because the repeater frequency that's on here for this coffee mug doesn't exist anymore. So I'm not going to print any more of these. So these are only 12 of them in existence, and somebody's going to get one of these awesome coffee mugs. I don't know if you saw those at all before. So please like, share, subscribe to the channel to as many people as you possibly can. Get us up over the 100 member subscription mark. And you got anything out there? Oh,
Yep.
there is one more thing I would have, but go ahead.
I have a special event going on in my comic book store this Saturday. We talked a little bit about it with Dr.Ben, but it's local comic book shop day. And it's a day to celebrate your local comic book store, and we're gonna have sales. We're gonna have, you know, we're celebrating Batman too, the same day. So a lot of DC stuff is gonna be on sale. We're gonna have a sale on our bricks, which is what we call our comic book boxes. Full box, one price. Come check it out. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome this Saturday. Check it out.
All right. And lastly, I think there's a lot of people we like to thank, but especially the viewers, everybody, like I said before, all the people who watch our show regularly every week. Appreciate you guys here. And a big special thanks to our good friend Dan, who has done so much to help us get this show rolling. He's currently in the hospital rehab. He had some injuries over these past couple of weeks, and we were praying for him, wishing him the best. So hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery, and we'll be seeing him again soon. That's all I got, though. So again, like, share, comment in the list below, and
Like and
hobby,
subscribe.
yeah, like, subscribe, and hobby on.
Hobby on.